Hey guys, it's Brendan Ayer. Before we get started, if you like the show, make sure you subscribe, rate it, review it. All that stuff helps. Follow us on social media, Shitbrains Show on every platform. We even got YouTube. We got a Facebook group. And if you want bonus content, go to patreon.com/shitbrainshow. And if you have questions you want answered on the podcast, hit up shitbrainshow@gmail.com. Enjoy the program.
My brain is shit, man. It's shitty. Like it doesn't function properly. It just does whatever it wants. Life's still pretty good. This is Shit Brains.
Hey, welcome to Shit Brains. My name's Brendan Ayer. I got a shitty brain. This is a comedy podcast where we're destigmatizing the conversation around mental health by basically having on all our fucked up friends, and they admit everything that's wrong with them. And we're beginning to find out, Jimmy, everyone seems to have problems with their brain. That's what I'm beginning to see. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Jimmy Graham. Jimmy, what's going on, man?
Chilling, man. Rough day today in the office.
You don't have an office. You are broke. You used to work cutting grass with prisoners, and now I don't know what you do. So
my new job is sitting on hold with unemployment.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
I think he's frozen.
What?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, Jeremy, don't butt in when we're in the middle of our introductions, okay? That's, of course, our producer, Jeremy Demery, coming at you live from, well, not live, but from Golden Ox Studios here in Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm super excited about our guest today, primarily because he's one of my best friends in the entire world. But you guys, you don't fucking know him as your best friend, okay? You know him as the host of Puddles. You know him as, which you can get wherever you get podcasts. You know him as a phenomenal comic. You know him as the co-host of Nikki Glazer's podcast. Andrew Collin is here. Andrew, what's going on, man?
I'm sorry, but my internet in my room doesn't, because I'm far away from the router, but I'm coming now.
So this is we've been avoiding remote podcasts because we did so many of them during quarantine. I was like, we'll have Andrew on. That guy's a professional podcaster. He'll have a setup ready to go. And nope, just horse shit. Just walking around your house looking for a better signal.
Well, here's the thing, Brandon. I'm not good at anything. I don't know why you expect me to change just because I have one credit. You know?
Well, what credit?
Have I ever?
What credit?
What?
What credit?
I don't know. I thought you gave me one. I wasn't listening. I was too busy looking for signal. Did your friend use a flask?
Yeah, he's a drunk.
Flask?
That's Jimmy Graham. He's a phenomenal comedian. He's got a real alcohol problem, and he generally has 3 to 4 different mixers he's working with at any time during the podcast. Wouldn't you say, Jimmy, there's usually some mixing going on?
Yeah, I got to work it out. Today we're drinking peach pear LaCroix and vodka.
Peach pear LaCroix and vodka.
Yeah.
Do you drink every night?
No, most, though.
Respect.
Yeah, dude.
Respect.
Yeah. I find being aware is one of the biggest hells in the world.
Yeah, he doesn't
I think your brain is. Sometimes people that like want to pretend they're so smart, like I can't deal with the world because my brain is too in depth. You know?
No,
like,
I'm dumb.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, you were literally describing me when I hung myself. Just like, I'm too smart for this goddamn world. When really it was like I just felt kind of fat, you know? Like,
and we all, and then the rope didn't work, and you realize you are dumb.
Yeah, you're dumb.
Nothing...
This is a blanket. This is a LL Bean blanket you've hung yourself with.
Did you write down the hypothesis? Like, was this a science experiment that you figured out?
Can you hang yourself from a rafter with a stretchy blanket? So I want to tell a story about over 4th of July, and then we'll get it into interviewing Andrew. But so I feel like this is something you might do, Jimmy, but and usually I would like this kind of behavior, but I didn't like it because of the circumstances. So we're grilling out My buddy lives right on the lake. We're in Collinwood. We're having all the babies are there. We're fucking, it's a real adult party right on the lake. And it was one of the beaches that have lifeguards, right? And they have to take 15 minutes everyone out of the water. Like that way the lifeguards can change over, and also they can, I think, check the water for bodies. Is that part of the 15 minutes? Do you know? Is that what 15 minutes rest break?
I think
is
they're probably using the bathroom. I don't think they're checking for dead people.
Oh, I thought it was like,
I could be wrong.
I thought it was like it's too crowded.
Lifeguard.
Take a 15 minutes every hour to scan it. Whoever doesn't get out, dead. You know what I mean? That's what I thought. But anyway, so they call the 15-minute break. This like gangly, probably like 42-year-old white guy just keeps swimming. First of all, he can't really swim. Just keep swimming. And they go, sir, in the bullhorn, they go, sir, out of the water, please. 15-minute safety break. And he literally goes, fuck you, 4th of July, America, freedom.
Yes.
And he just,
fuck yeah, dude.
He would, no, well, here's the thing. Normally I'm in support of that kind of behavior. But in this case, they're just fucking 14-year-old kids. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what to do. The lifeguards, they're just kids, like, making $12 an hour. It's like, give them some slack. So they keep yelling at him. They go, sir, we're going to have to call the police. He goes, fuck you, call. And we're all watching this from up on the hill, right? And so the police come. What does this guy do? He's a genius. He goes, in his head, he goes, they got fucking bulletproof vests and body cams on.
Swim.
They're not coming in the water. So he just starts swimming parallel to the shore, just away down Lake Erie.
If you learned anything, you swim with the current and away from police. That's what you learn early on in your career.
That guy fucking rules.
Well, here was the pathetic part, and like it got out of our view, so I don't know how it ended. The police literally, I mean, because swimming is... If you're like a fast swimmer, you're the equivalent of a very slow walker. So the police were just casually strolling down the beach next to where he was. It wasn't like he was going to get away unless he turned towards Canada. So we don't know.
What I like? I like in movies when they'll swim deep and be like, the bullets can't get me down here. And it's like, bullets, if you could swim down there, a bullet probably will still be going pretty fast, 15 feet down. You know what I mean?
I don't know the physics on that. I think water stops bullets pretty good. I mean, I don't.
If Mythbusters taught me anything,
No, you might be right. I don't know. You do always see that. Now, so Andrew.
Wait, what did the guy do? What happened?
That's what I said. He got out of our sight.
I think he got away with it.
He just slowly got out of our sight. We just saw them keep walking down the beach like for a mile, and then it was like, this guy's living in the lake now. That's his only choice.
You grew up in East.
He might have swam. He might have swam out at the lifeguard, like where it was 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Like he might have swam far enough.
He did. Yeah. But the complaint had already been registered, so the cops were already on him. Because it was already like, he was out of that zone, A, and B, everyone was back in the water. Yeah. So he wasn't breaking the rules anymore, but it was like the cops were already on this guy, and he was just pulling he was only like, he was like 30 feet from shore, but the cops were just like, I'm not going in the fucking water.
Exactly. He walked. He got away with it. He walked to the 2nd district, and then they're like, "Not my job. Not sorry, bro. That ain't on me."
This is city lines now. I love the idea of a guy trespassing and being like, "Nah, I'm not trespassing anymore. I'm on this side of the fence." You know, like, you can't.
I also love it so much that like. That's his idea of freedom. Freedom doesn't mean there's no rules. You know what I mean? Like, it's a 12-year-old lifeguard. It's not like 4th of July, motherfucker.
This lifeguard keeps getting younger. Yeah. He started at 14. You're like, this 5-year-old lifeguard can't even swim.
This lifeguard that was a fetus inside its mother's belly.
I just love that.
You know what they need? You know, they got these police dogs. They need some kind of police fish. Some kind of like aquatic thing that gets after these.
The Navy experimented with dolphins with guns on them. I think this could be one of these things I think I know, but really it's, and they all escaped. And the Navy was just like, all right, never talk about that again. Cause now we got free roaming gun dolphins in the.
They just been running the Marianas Trench.
Yeah.
Fucking. I love picturing this beach guy just like showing up to court with like the best lawyer because he's an old white guy. Yeah. He just argues like he was on international waters, Your Honor.
Yeah. Maritime law. So Andrew and I met. Man, we've known each other a long time. We kind of met at both the same. Interestingly, like the same stage in our lives and the same stage in our comedy careers, I would say. Like a bit down and out and not yet established as comedians, right? Wouldn't you say? We met at Bar 82? Is that where we met in New York City?
I think we either met there or Eastville.
Yeah.
Which, I think I remember meeting you at Eastville, sitting on the back wall there. You had a shaved head from what I remember.
Yeah.
And I think you were talking about salmon in Alaska.
Right.
I just remember that. You're like, oh, we had odd jobs. What did you do? Oh, I worked with salmon in Alaska. I was like, I got to get to know. This guy seems to have something. And then, shortly we found out we both were retired in our 20s, played golf every day, didn't really get that great. Yeah. We lived back at home. We kind of, we have very similar, we're both middle kids, you know? Yeah. I think you're a middle, right?
Yeah, both middle children, very similar, like fucked up mentally, but not very outwardly displaying it. Like we both have a bunch of mental quirks, but we played sports. We were like popular, like weird shit where you think like if you just knew what was wrong with him, you'd be like, oh, he's a school shooter. But he was like on the football team with Tom Segura, who went to his high school, like successful guy. But like give Jimmy a little of like your backstory, because I always find it I find it fucking fascinating.
I mean, I don't even know where to start with where do you want me to start with, like mental health stuff, or do you want me to talk about like jobs, or
I would where do you want me to go you to tell Jimmy, if you don't mind, just to give an idea of who we're dealing with here, and our listeners. I would love to hear the New Orleans story, if you don't mind.
The stab story?
Yeah.
The stabbing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was visiting college. I was a virgin. I thought I'd get laid. You go to college visiting. My brother was a junior there. I was a senior in high school. I was from kind of a small town. I thought, I'd wear my coolest Gap shirt and I'd, fuck some girl and think I had AIDS or something, something hot. And sure enough, I'm with my brother's friend, roommate, who's 28 years old, and he's apparently an ex-Navy SEAL. And I'm talking to him. I'm like, oh my God, you're a Navy SEAL. It's my first hour in New Orleans, and he's like, yeah. He's like, you want to see something? And he has this closet of death. He has knives, camouflage, medals, and he has a bulletproof vest. And I'm like, is this the gun dolphins? And he's like, no, this is mine. And so I try on the vest, and he goes, look, it's knife proof.
Say that again.
And without asking
hold on,
me,
say that again. Say that again. Jimmy was laughing. What did
he goes, look, it's knife proof. And I was like, oh, cool. You're going to show me while it's still on me? Sweet. And he didn't really give me time to take off the vest. And next thing I know, I had a knife in my chest. And he goes, oh, I think I stabbed you. I go, I don't know if you. It's not something you think about, you know when you stab a guy. And he takes the knife out pretty quick, and I guess knives do that. And I take the vest off, and blood is shooting out my chest. and
all over your
he's
Gap
like, I'm
shirt.
sorry. Yeah, my favorite blue Gap shirt. Yeah, and he took my Gap shirt off and plugged the wound. What a fucking prick. And so I was a little upset about both things. And so then he goes, oh, sorry about the accident. And I was like, dude, it's not an accident. Like it's you trip, you trip somebody, you straight up stabbed me, bro.
It's fucking premeditated, dude.
Yeah. And he told me. He goes, "Hey, look, it's knife proof." Like you thought about this for at least a second.
Yeah. I've always wondered, like, did he just always believe it was knife proof, or was he like looking for a guy to test it? You know what I mean?
He got ripped off out of like a magazine or a website or some shit.
Yeah. He's like, "I'm going to test this thing. I'm going to prove to them that it's also knife proof." And it's like, dude, you're not your hypothesis again. Like, so I'm bleeding to death, and my brother's like, "Hey, get in the Wrangler." And so we get in my brother's badass Wrangler. This thing is mean, new tires.
Nice, dude.
If you're gonna die, you die in a fucking Wrangler. You know what I mean? Like fucking like a real man, like that freedom man.
You're like you're bleeding to death, and you drive by another Wrangler, but you still give the wave that those Jeep people do.
If you could read this, flip me over and give me fucking CPR, homie.
Yeah.
To be honest, if you're a Wrangler, you're probably bleeding yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the Wrangler way. And so I'm bleeding to death, and I think I'm gonna die because I think blood is shooting out of my heart. Like the wound is like right in my chest. Like I thought my heart was pumped. I thought the blood was like my aorta or whatever, just going. You know, like that's what I was envisioning because the Star Spangled Banner is like right here, you know?
Yeah.
But your heart is a little lower.
Let me just clarify something real quick. That's how you found out where your heart was because of where you put your hand during the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's fucking that's right
he
here.
He just found out right now.
Yeah, wait, what?
He just found out today.
You didn't try and feel like where it's beating in your chest? You're just like, no, it's the Star Spangled Banner, dude. And I know where my dick is from standing in a wall when I played soccer.
That's true. Yeah. I remember it. Yep. Hey, look, I asked him to stab me in my dick to find out where that was too. You know, that little ass cock of mine, my little Jew dick. But anyway, so I can't breathe. My stomach muscles like the pain isn't in the stab; it's in the stomach because it's cramping.
Yeah.
And they think my lung is collapsed. That's what the nurse said. She's like, "Oh, you know." And she's trying to put the IV in my arm. She misses my vein like 55 times. I was like, you know, bitch, I'm vascular. What's wrong? You know, like I played.
I've been
JV
working
football.
out.
Like what's? So, they go. Oh, they think my lungs collapsed. They give me a Valium to relax my stomach muscle, and then they give me Demerol for the pain. And Demerol, I don't know if you ever had it. It's like a very like strong painkiller. So at that point, I'm just like, oh, I'm in New Orleans. I was just like, oh, I'm on Mardi Gras. You know, throw me a hand grenade. Your boy got stabbed. You know,
so, gator soup.
So they come back and the X-ray shows that the knife missed my lung by like centimeters, but they had to keep me there for 6 hours to make sure my lung isn't collapsed. So I'm laying there and about like 30 minutes, I'm like kind of like I'm not in and out of it, but I'm just like out of it just from the Demerol, you know. And I close my eyes and I open my eyes and the Navy SEAL is, and he looks at me and he goes, "Here, 1 second, shit, what happened here?" Oh yeah, he goes. You got to tell the cops that you stabbed yourself. And I go, "Why?" And he's like, "Because I can't get in trouble for this. And, you just got." And I go, "Well, what should I say?" He's like, and then the next thing you know, this New Orleans cop walks in. I don't even know what to say. And I just go, a dog jumped on me, a big dog, while I was playing with a knife. And I swear to God, the cop just goes, "All right, well, enjoy New Orleans." Like, it was like, he didn't want to fill out the paperwork. Yep. He was just like, he didn't ask me if it was a Labradoodle. He didn't, like, he could have asked me one question and I would have folded. You know what I mean? Like, he would have been like, so.
He looks at you, he's like, "Let me guess, a pit bull."
Yeah.
And I'd be like, he stabbed me. The Navy SEAL.
It's so funny because, like, for like a New Orleans cop, that's so clear that, like, a white guy with a non-fatal stab wound is just like, all right, whatever unless he demands to make a complaint, I'm getting out of here. No questions asked. Like, this guy's going to be fine. I don't give a fuck. I got 37 unsolved homicides to deal with. Like, this guy's free to go. He's got a Wrangler.
Yeah, there's a guy with a crew cut in the corner just staring intensely at the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love for this guy to be like the cop that's figuring out the Biggie and Tupac murder, you know? And like, even to this day, he's like, I wonder who's really stabbed that little Jewish guy. You know? Like, he's like
sick-ass Gap shirt.
It keeps him up at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, so he leaves, and then my brother, for some reason, decides to play a prank on me where he told me I could get a scar that was a Playboy bunny if I got stitches as a play. And so I told the doctor, I go, hey, let me get that Playboy bunny scar. And he's like, what? And I was like, what kind of brother, like, did he get me stabbed just to play the prank? Is this all for the prank? Because, I mean, Jackass was pretty big back then.
Yeah. Also,
maybe this was like punked. Maybe I was getting punked.
Imagine if that was a thing. If you were like, hey, can I get that Playboy bunny scar? And he was like, oh, hell yeah, man. You sure you don't want the marijuana leaf scar? I do both. And it's like, you would now just have a Playboy bunny scar on your chest.
Did the guy stab you like this? Yeah. With the ears?
Yeah.
Like,
was it Hugh Hefner?
That's great.
So I get stitched up, and my brother, I remember we get back in the Wrangler, and I'm going home, and he's like, hey, you want to go check out this college band I manage? And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do after getting stabbed with a bulletproof vest on. I want to go check out a college band that plays Gin Blossoms. And so we go to the concert, and I swear I left this out, but the lead guitarist, I swear on my life, was the Navy SEAL that stabbed me. And from stage, he's like, hey, man, sorry about the accident again. And I was like, again, I don't think it was an accident. You just because you look cool as shit right now doesn't mean I'm going to forgive you.
Fucking rules.
Yeah, he's so cool. He's so cool.
Killing it, dude.
He like dedicated a song to me, like "Stab in the Heart" or whatever.
I like how you were in the hospital, so he didn't know your status, and he just went to the gig. He could have killed a guy, and he just went to he was like, a gig's a gig, brother. Like, he didn't know you were fine.
Show must go on.
You know, the third day, if you get through Navy SEAL training, you could kill a guy and still play a fucking mean show. You know what I mean? Like, that's what a Navy SEAL does.
Yeah.
And so this whole time, I'm so afraid of this guy. Because Navy, like, if a Navy SEAL stabs you, you don't fight the Navy SEAL because then you'll get stabbed again.
Right.
Like, that was, you know, like, what could he do without a vest on?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And so I'm so afraid of this guy. And then the next day we go to a party, and I show all these girls my stab like wound. And I met this beautiful girl, and then my brother was like, yeah, she fucks a lot of dudes. And I was like, oh, I'm not fucking her because I'm scared of AIDS. But I kissed her, and so I didn't lose my virginity. But then I was like, oh, yeah, I'll go to Tulane because that's, you know, could only go up.
Right.
And it didn't at all. But yeah, that was. Oh, and then he was a Navy SEAL. I found that out a few months later. He lied about everything.
He was stealing valor.
Yeah, he was a stolen valor. He was a stolen fucking valor. I love that story so much.
Holy shit!
I mean, it's just like, you know. But I didn't take it in. I didn't ever think like, man, I don't know if it was my mental illness or what, but like, I went back home and I was like. No PTSD there, you know, like no, you know, no. You know, I never thought like I almost died, like it didn't last, and it like that's somewhere inside me, you know. I would think.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes like when, and we'll get into this, but when you have like, I know at least this is true for myself. When you have these like obsessions and anxiety about sort of things that don't exist, like. Crazy shit that actually does exist doesn't bother me that much because I have this whole world in my head of crazy things that aren't true. That like when something, like when I was in Alaska, I was freaking out. Like one day I worked in Alaska, and So it was the first time I ever had a mental breakdown because I simultaneously tried to quit booze, I tried to quit drugs, and I quit all my psych meds.
And salmon.
And I was working in a salmon canning factory 75 hours a week, and there's no nighttime. It's light the whole time. There's mosquitoes like fucking the size of rocks. There's bald eagles like around like they're pigeons. It's literally like the perfect place to go insane because it's just like everything seems wrong, you know? And so I was living in this cabin with my brother, and it's real. You got to take your garbage to the dump. And he didn't tell me, but his car had broke down, and he'd stopped taking his garbage to the dump, and he'd stopped taking our garbage to the dump, and he'd just been putting it under our cabin. And so he was out of town for like 3 days, and it was my first like real delusional mental breakdown. Like I was staring into the mirror, and I saw like parts of my body moving that weren't moving. I was like full on anxiety attack. I threw all the knives out the window because I was like, I'm going to slit my wrist. I threw all the knives out the window. And I had all this money from work. You make a lot of money in the salmon canning factory. So finally I was just like, fuck it, dude. I'm walking to the airport because there's a little village. I was like, I'm walking to the airport. I'm buying a ticket to Anchorage. I'm going to Anchorage. I'm flying home to Cleveland. Like I'm losing my mind. I had never been through this kind of thing before.
Because the garbage smell?
No, Jimmy, because I'm going crazy. Because I'm mentally.
Okay.
Well, no, I thought there were bears were going to be involved in this.
Well, hold on. Dude, this is the thing. This is what's interesting. So I'm losing my mind over this anxiety and these delusions that are fake. I walk out the front door. The fucking cabin is surrounded by bears because my brother put all our garbage under the goddamn thing. There's like,
and they have knives.
There's like 20 bears. Yeah, and they're well armed. So there's like 20 bears, but it's crazy. It's crazy how quickly a real threat will take you out of an imagined delusional threat. Because I looked outside and was just like, fuck it. Gotta stay inside and play GameCube. Like that's all there is to do. But Andrew, like we have some similarities and a lot of differences, but like because I have like
wait, what happened with the bears? Like
I just went inside.
They leave eventually?
They ate all the garbage and left. Yeah, because I was in. Here's the thing. I didn't.
Kind of weird how we think we're fine, but the bear could break a window or a door or a wall.
No,
even.
These were like they were big enough that I didn't want to go out amongst them, but they weren't grizzlies. Like it was like I didn't think they were going to come into the house. You know what I mean? Like
you could have taken out one or two.
Yeah, I think like no, probably not. But I also at that point it was like if a bear kills me, I'll be less anxious. You know, it'll be fine.
It's intermission time.
Hey guys, it's Brendan. Sorry to interrupt. I just have to tell you, if you like the show, we do a bonus episode every week, plus tons of other content. Go to patreon.com/shitbrainshow. All right, back to the action.
We're happy to have you with us tonight and hope you'll come back often.
But so Andrew and I have some similarities in like I have...
Yeah, same exact thing happened to me.
Yeah. No, but like I have like health delusions. Like I had this thing. I
have a story that's. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I want to focus on you because I always felt better talking to you because we kind of had these similar. I don't even think it's it's not hypochondria. It's worse than that. It's obsessive like delusions about health. Like you have I know off the top of my head 2 stories you have about that. But go ahead and say what you were going to say.
Well, to your point, like so I was always because I saw Kids the movie when I was a kid. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Yeah, of course.
Where Casper gets AIDS or whatever, Telly gets AIDS, and
the
Casper
girl gets AIDS killed himself.
Did he?
Yeah, it really bummed me out. He killed himself, and then Harold, the black dude, he's dead, and Telly was in The Wire though. So,
nice, shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to Telly. Go ahead, Andrew.
So anyhow, that movie, I guess for good reason, it's pretty scary because apparently it was scary to them because he killed himself. So anyway, so like I had this weird fear of STDs, especially AIDS, and so like I would have these fears and like any ailments I had with my own body, I just assumed, I got AIDS. I got an AIDS test when I fingered a girl and bit my nails when I was a virgin. That's
totally true.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 41 now.
No, but how old were you when that happened?
No, but that gives it context. 18. That gives it context.
So you fingered a girl, you bit your nails. What did the doctor say when you asked for an AIDS test?
He said he just laughed at me. And then the joke was on him because I had AIDS. So, no.
You proved that motherfucker wrong.
Started spitting blood all over them.
Yeah.
No, so like I've had like these weird fears of death and then I had actual my butthole is not good. I come from a long line of horrible buttholes. My great grandma died of butthole cancer. I just not good buttholes. And that was the official doctor's word for it, was butthole cancer. Yeah, it was butthole cancer. And I had tubular polyps, which is like premature cancer. Like they're bad. It's bad to have that. And if you don't catch it early enough, it could. And I get surgery. Like I don't even think about cancer. Like it's not even. It's like the bear. It's like the bear showing up.
Right.
That pre-cancer, and it doesn't really hit me. Like I don't really I'm not up at night thinking about my own asshole. Yeah. But I am up at night thinking about this disease that's almost impossible. Very difficult to get. Obviously, it's not impossible. But but yeah. So these fears, it came in different ways. I got a fear of choking. I started being afraid of choking on anything, on my food. I would swallow on one side because that was my strong side. That was the side that was empty.
We'd go to diners in New York and just fucking, great. The conversation was great, but you'd have to deal with Andrew chewing his food literally barely into his mouth. He'd chew with his food halfway out of his mouth because he was afraid to choke. Like it was a real thing. And you went to the hospital once, right?
Well, yeah. So I've been to the hospital multiple times with panic attacks, thinking it was heart attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but this one time I was at my grandma's house. She wasn't living there. My grandma Thelma, she was up north, which was across the street from my grandma Shirley's house. They lived across the street from each other. And I thought I swallowed a piece of lint when I was on the floor on the iPad. And I could feel it in the back of my throat. And I was like, okay, it's not choking me now, but it's gonna, at any second, it's gonna start taking over my throat. And I run over to Shirley's house. And I'm like, Grandma, I'm choking. And she was in the bathroom and she's like, what? And I'm like, never mind. I'm cool. I'm cool, Grandma. Don't worry about it, And she had a caretaker who probably could have talked me down there. And I got in the car and I drove 30 minutes thinking I was choking to death. And in traffic.
Which, usually if you can make it 30 minutes driving, fine, you're all right.
Changing the radio station, just getting pissed at the NPR play.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I'm making a left. You mind I'm choking to death over here. And I had to find a parking space. It was absurd. And I drove all the way there. I went to urgent care and I was having a full on panic attack. And I just went to the lady. I was like, hey, I'm choking. And she looks at me like, what? And I was like, yeah, to death. And it's bad. I'm choking. And she looked at me and she's like, why don't you have a seat? And I was like, I can't sit down. I need to see someone ASAP. I'm choking. And she's like, okay, why don't you have a seat? And so I'm sitting there and I'm reading a magazine and I'm starting to realize oh, maybe I'm not choking. It hit me 45 minutes later that, oh, maybe, just maybe. And so then they're like, the doctor can see you. And at this point, I'm pretty embarrassed, but I have to go through with it.
Sure.
And I went out back there and I still had let's be honest, 60% of me thought I still was choking. And, and I was like, hey, I'm choking. She's reading the thing. And she's like, says here, you're choking. And she's like, usually there's symptoms, turning blue, shortness of breath, most importantly, choking. And,
choking is one of the primary fucking symptoms of choking, I find.
But that's how crazy my brain was, and I still made her take an X-ray. And I swear to God, I was driving home, and I still, in my mind, thought she was wrong, that she didn't see it on the X-ray, that I still had the lint in my throat.
Well, that's how.
And so so I don't know. But yeah, no, just like these imaginary things of like and ailments would happen to me, and because physical things do happen to you because of anxiety and depression. Like real physical things would happen to me, like numbness or like shakes or blurry vision.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And if you Google those things, it goes, hey, you're
fucking dying,
this disease,
dude.
or you're dying tomorrow. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is real. And then someone will go, it's just anxiety. And then I'm like, fuck you. That's not just my brain. I could literally feel this. So then, eventually I'll be right and it'll be a heart attack, but like my point is like, and so then I finally got therapy, and I finally I went to a doctor. I got checked out. I was also in horrible debt. I dealt with my debt. Like I got on Zoloft. I stopped drinking, and I haven't had like a full on panic attack in years.
Yeah, it's interesting. It really is interesting, like how powerful the brain-body connection is. Like, I knew a guy in the mental hospital, and unfortunately, he took his own life. And for
Casper,
what? Yeah, his name was Casper from Kids. Really, I kept saying, "But you're so good at doing a kickflip, bro." What? No,
he goes, "I was good."
Yeah. And this dude for 25 years has been living. And this is why I always get mad when people are like, suicide's the coward's way out. It's like, for 25 years, this dude had horrible depression. And the way it manifested itself was, he felt like his arms were on fire. All day long, every day. For 25 fucking years, and no one could solve it. And that's how, like, your brain...
I'm sorry for laughing.
No, it's fine, like, because it's wild. It's crazy. Your brain is that powerful that it could take, like, whatever emotions you're having and make it into these crazy... Like, I'm so open with my mental health, but I almost never talk about the most embarrassing part of it, which was... For years, I had this thing where, kind of similar to Andrew's choking thing, but worse. I had this thing. My anxiety would manifest itself into thinking my dick was going to shrink up and go inside my body and never come back. And
that's a fucking thing. My buddy was texting me about that.
It's
not super common in the States.
This is what's wild. It's called Coro.
Yes.
It's called Coro, and I'm the first white person that's ever had it.
No shit.
Yeah, it's mostly found in Southeast Asia and sub-Saharan Africa. And I
wonder if my friend was texting me about you breaking HIPAA laws.
Yeah, but the reason mine is different is because normally those guys, it'll break out in a village where they're not very well educated, about health, and then a doctor from the UN will just come in and say, that's impossible, and they'll go, oh, great, and then they'll be fine. And that never worked for me. Like, I knew that was impossible.
Wait. Go back. So mentally, their dick will go in their body just because it's a mental disorder, and then the guy goes, it's impossible, and their dick comes out again?
No.
Like a turtle?
It's impossible for your dick to disappear. Like, it can
turtle
turtle
but
up.
these guys' dicks disappear.
No. They don't.
It's just a fear that it's going to.
It's an irrational fear that it's going to.
Okay.
And it's an irrational fear that it's going to.
Maybe because their dicks are so small to begin with that they think, it's already pretty much in my body.
Yeah. Those guys in
sub-Saharan Africa, known for their tiny little penises.
No, in South Asia. Asia.
Yeah. Well, that was the case.
And by the way, my dick goes in my body all the time. This is a thing.
Well, that's the thing is like, here's what's weird. It's like, and I got a fine dick. I got a good dick. But here's the thing. The problem with it is, like what you were saying, is when you get into a panic attack mode, your dick shrinks up. And most people just don't notice it because they're not like checking their dick, but like it's from fight or flight. It's from caveman days where it's like, okay, what's your most important body part that we don't want a saber-toothed tiger to rip off? You're in a fight, shrink up the dick, But I was checking every 2 seconds, so I was in my head, and my dick was shrinking up, and I was like going nuts, and so they eventually called it Coro-like symptoms because I didn't have like what Coro was, but they were going to write.
Did you ever go to a doctor for this? Did you ever go to a doctor?
Andrew, I went to 2 psych wards and 4 months in the mental hospital for this. I mean,
so you told those guys about?
Yeah, lots. I mean,
okay.
A lot.
Okay.
And I mean that's kind of what helped me get over it because they were just like,
So would you want to like stay kind of like half hard your whole life? You
What's
just wanted blood in your dick to keep your dick out?
No, now I'm just don't pay attention to my dick like everyone else does, And it's like, but it was like I knew rationally your dick doesn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like your dick's fine, but it was this fear that consumed me, and I.
But what I'm saying though, would you fluff your dick a lot to make sure it wasn't too soft?
No, because imagine when you're in a panic attack, like you can't fluff yourself up.
Yeah.
You're not feeling sexual, Like, but here's what really made me mad.
I just love the idea of you're fluffing your dick, right? And you're like, all right, stay out of my body. And then you come, and then you're like, no.
Well, I
came. It's gonna go in my body now.
It never even goes into my body. It would just like shrink up tight, like a turtle.
Yeah. I'm not saying that your dick.
Yeah. Like I think you have to be really fat for it to go into your body, but. Here's the thing. This is what really pissed me off. In the mental hospital one time, this guy was like, you're the only known Westerner. You're the only known white guy that's ever had this.
The biggest nerd.
He goes, I'm going to write an article. We're going to get you in the journals. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then next week at therapy,
Wall Street Journal.
Next week at therapy, he goes,
Comedy Central.
Yeah. At the psychiatry session the next week, he goes, the editor rejected it. It's like, I'm in the goddamn mental hospital getting rejections. What the fuck is that?
Actually, we don't need any more straight white men.
Yeah.
Look, we watched your tape. Your dick is nowhere near inside your body. This is. Call us when your dick shrivels even more, sir.
But it's so funny. You just talking about it makes you realize like how ridiculous it's all your brain.
Well, yeah, you're so. I mean, I don't know. Growing up, we're a similar age. Talking about having anxiety or being like, I can't control my brain. Like, one, you don't want to be thought of as crazy because once you get labeled that, like there was one guy I remember. He like tried to take over a plane because he kind of lost his mind because he took bad acid, and then he's the take over a plane guy. Like you growing up, like if you had a crazy episode, you're judged as that person the rest of your life. You know,
it's
what I mean?
Pretty extreme example of a growing up. Was this just a friend of yours in middle school trying to take over the plane? And then he was to take over the plane. Yeah. A guy tries to hijack one fucking plane, and they label him with that for the rest of his life. Those 9/11 guys had other hobbies.
He's the only white guy to ever have that issue, actually. Okay, that was a bad choice.
But I know what you mean. Yeah. No, you didn't want to.
So, like, growing up, or like, you don't want to seem like a pussy. You're like, I throw a football. Like, I'm not a fucking bitch. Like, mental health, like, us growing up, it wasn't, like, cool to say I have anxiety or depression. Like, nowadays, it's like, you just say it and everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah. Cool.
Would you like the day off work?
Like, it wasn't. Yeah. It's just, it wasn't talked about.
Yeah.
Even back, I didn't know what I had. Even, like, in college, I wouldn't go to class because I would be having constant anxiety attacks. And I was just like, oh, I guess I just don't like school. I guess I'm just I don't know. I'm drinking too much. But really, my brain was fucked.
I literally called it.
I don't know.
I literally didn't know the name of it. I called it, I would say, when I was going through an episode, I would say I have hot brain. because that's what it felt like. And I didn't, that was going to be the name of this podcast, but there's already some sex podcast called Hot Brain. But
just two bitches sucking dick.
Yeah. But yeah, I honestly
call it Coro.
Yeah. But so here's, you touched on it briefly, but like, one of the things I'm really impressed by is because, like, I mean, let me just say, for those of you that haven't checked out Puddles or haven't seen Andrews live, that fucking stabbing story is one of probably 700 insane stories that he lived. The guy like made $1 million and lost $1 million in fucking subprime mortgages, like crashed jet ski, killed a manatee with a jet ski, burned down his fraternity house. But like,
you're really making me sound like Bill Bradsky, but I'll take it.
Yeah. But like, what I'm curious about, because like we were kind of in very similar places, like 9 years ago or whatever in New York, where we're at the beginning of our comedy careers. Neither of us were like in crisis, but neither of us was particularly like doing mentally great. And one thing I'm just really proud of, like, I guess the changes you've made in your life. And what I want to know is, like, was that very deliberate, or did it just kind of come with age? Or was there a point where you were like, I got to get it together. I've got to like set goals. I've got to do what I need to do to take care of myself. Or did that just kind of like come together?
I wish I could say like it was it's definitely the latter. Like a lot of it had to do, I was a dog walker in New York. Right. I was trying to do stand up in my 30s as, like, I didn't feel really any momentum. I had some good shows, whatever, but I wasn't making enough money to really like live. I was living with 2 roommates. My bed was on the floor. I didn't even buy cups. Like, I was living like, but I think like quitting drinking definitely helped. Having a passion definitely helped. You know what I mean? Like for so long, I just did things professionally that just were the easiest route.
Right.
That I thought would make money or whatever, and then I came across stand-up and I was like, okay, who knows, like, if I knew how hard it was going to be, like, if I would have ever done it, but like, whatever. So then, like, obviously I met Nikki and that had a profound impact on me. I had some stability in my life financially.
Right.
And also I got to perform and like have someone believe in me when, like, especially someone better or like bigger. And
it's fine. I only believed in you the whole fucking time, but that's fine.
No, I know. But
I know what you mean. No, I know.
No.
When someone who's already made it believes in you, it means a lot. Yes. I understand.
And I think, like, all those things come together, and I think, like, honestly, like going on the road and getting outside of New York and like just not relying on, like, New York can eat you up, as like, you're relying on trying to get on these shows. You have to kiss ass. You're constantly comparing yourself to other people. You're constantly trying to come up with new jokes just to feel like you're relevant. And it's just a mind fuck. And I don't know. So like, so that, getting to stability career wise, not drinking, getting on Zoloft, doing therapy. Like, I did all the right things. You know what I mean? Like, I did. And I think, like, I don't know, like, nowadays, like, living in St. Louis, like, dude, my brain, I've never felt clearer, Yeah. Could that go away tomorrow if I had to dog walk again? Like, I wouldn't go back to that. I don't know what I would do, but, like, I just, like, but to your point, like, I didn't have, like, a goal written down. Like, I want to have a podcast. Like, I don't want, I never, like, honestly, I never believed in myself where I thought I could have a Comedy Central special. Like, I never thought that they would.
You don't.
Not, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, no, but I never thought I could.
Right.
Like,
well, you couldn't now. They don't like us. But
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I just never, like, had, like, industry, like, interested in me, like, to even think that was a possibility. Also, I didn't even believe in myself. So why would they believe in me? Some of these people just have so much belief in it. So, but lately, you know, like I found confidence outside of stand up. Like in, you know, I'm in a nice relationship now. Like I exercise daily. Like I've been playing a ton of golf. Like I find like happiness in things, you know, in my friendships.
Human being shit.
Huh?
Like human being shit.
Yeah, human being shit.
That you forget to do.
Well, and especially, dude, I mean, I relate so heavily to this because especially as a guy, as a comic trying to make it in New York, you get sucked into this world where you don't know anything. You know, I didn't know anyone in that city that wasn't a fucking comic. I didn't have, like, for 9 or 10 years, I didn't have barely a single conversation except maybe talking to Andrew or talking to another one of my close buddies. I didn't have a single conversation that wasn't, like, stand-up related. And that shit fucking weighs on you. And it's funny because, like, looking back, like, now when I'm really at peace with, like, what I'm doing career-wise and how, like, I'm going to make my own way of it and do what I want to do, it's really angers me the power that I gave to, like, other people to make me feel bad, to you know, bookers and fucking networks, and for the power I let them have over my life is like they never lost one bit of sleep over me, yet I let them be in my fucking head, and that's me letting them do it. And it's like, it's so freeing when you're just like, fuck that, man. Like, I'm funny, I'm doing well, like, you know. And the same thing being in Cleveland, like, I'm doing real people shit. Like, I'm going to I hang out with friends that aren't comics, you know, like, you know, it's just, it is freeing. The one thing I wouldn't mind, I think we got to get out of here. And I want to say I'm super proud of you, but
Thanks, man.
would you there's a story that I wanted you to tell.
Licking his lips.
Will you fucking tell Jimmy and the listeners? What time are we at?
Jeremy,
50 minutes.
Okay. Will you tell the story? Will you tell how you started stand up? What your guy was?
Oh, Andy Shallows.
Yeah. Tell him about Andy Shallows.
Well,
first of all, I mean, sick name, dude.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't smart, but I'm trying to think how. I mean, look, I failed at everything. I wasn't ever gonna do stand. I never thought I would fucking talk in front of people for any reason. I would literally shake when I would have to do speeches in
Same
college,
with me.
probably because I was hungover.
I'd blank out in front of a room full of 9 people. That's how my stage fright was such. Like, teachers would feel bad for me and start giving the answer for me because they'd be like,
"Yeah, if
this kid needs to
do
sit the fuck down."
PowerPoint to quiet to silence, I lose my mind.
Yeah,
and so I never thought that would happen. But then, like, so I failed at everything. I ended up losing all my money. I was pretty much I don't know. I was pretty drunk all the time. I ruined my relationship with my brother for a little while for working for him, and then leaving in a panic attacks, fear, leaving the job that he hired me for. So then I'm back in Florida, and I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, but I'm working as a nurse, like nursing at home, like selling at home nursing to different doctors. And I only got the job because my dad was a doctor. Long story short, my buddy had got divorced, and he was whatchamacallit. He got divorced. His friends bought him a class at the Improv to make fun of his ex-wife because she cheated on him with a guy with a huge cock. And you know he had a big dick because he had 3 kids. And, you know, she still left for him. You know what I mean? Like for each kid. Yeah. So anyway, so then he's like, "Look, you're the funniest guy I know. You got to do this." And so taking the class, I have a bunch of one-liners written because I thought I'd go to Miami ad school to do not one-liners, but to do copywriting. And so I had all these jokes written. I saw a special by Zach Galifianakis where he's playing the piano, and I thought I'd want music. to be, and I couldn't play any music. And the only person I knew that could play music was my buddy Crapo. And Crapo liked to wear costumes and go out and do magic tricks. His best magic trick was he had a wallet that would light on fire, and then he could put it out. So he would dress as a Wookiee and do these magic tricks around town. And I was like, this guy's perfect to do to be my co-kick, you know? And so I go to him, I go, hey, you know, if you wear the Wookiee costume, do you think you could play guitar? And he looked at me without even blinking an eye, you know, because he was wearing a mask. I couldn't see it. But without even blinking an eye, he just goes, I'll cut the gloves. And I go, and so he played slide guitar while I did one-liners, and he was Wookie Goldberg, and I was Andy Shallows. And
you're leaving out a pretty important part.
Which part?
I mean, what were you wearing?
Oh, I was wearing my grandpa's clothes because I was living at my grandma's house choking on the floor.
Weren't you wearing lederhosen?
No, he wore
wore lederhosen. It was a Wookiee in lederhosen playing the guitar. Now, by the way, some of the one-liners weren't bad, to be fair.
No. You know, I have a wonderful memory of skipping rocks and going straight to needles. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. And it was the best because he would after every joke, it wasn't like ruckus laughter, but he would put the mic down as if like waiting for the laughter to die down and just look around for a while.
Just slap it on your leg.
I was never
like
more
Chappelle.
confident ever on stage. But then, you know, I had a great show. We did the final show, and then we had to do open mics, and the Wookiee would put on this costume at Florida open mics where it was 150 degrees, and we were performing in front of a TV that was on in a fish tank, and he was sweating to death, you know, and then he was like, yeah, I don't know if I could keep doing this. I really don't think this is like a two-man thing. And then he got a girlfriend who kind of broke up the band.
Fucking Yoko, dude.
Yeah, she Yoko'd us for sure. And then, and then he quit, and then I tried to do the one-liners on my own without the music, and it didn't go well at all. And I remember I threatened an old man's life on my first professional show because he was judging each joke, and I could hear him go, yeah, that's a 6. That's a 5. And I go, well, I'll fucking kill you, you old piece of shit. I lost all the character, but I was still dressed as Andy Shallows, you know, but I was going alone, you know, it's pretty absurd.
I also liked that at the time you were like, those were the kind of one-liners that only work with a Wookiee playing the guitar. That's what made these not work. The fact that there's no Wookiee playing guitar behind me.
To be honest, I think I should get them back to regular jokes. Like, I really think it will help out. But anyhow, yeah. So that didn't work out. But then I did stand up on my own for 6 months and then moved to New York after I got like 3rd place in the state of Florida.
We also have that in common, that we're two idiots. And it's kind of good because you see those people that move like after they've had some success and they have to take a step down the ladder when they get to New York. We were both dumb enough, and I think it kind of helped us to do it for like 5 or 6 months and move right away.
Yeah.
And I think that helps.
We were also old.
Yeah, we were also old. That's kind of why I was like, I gotta make some moves now. Because like you do see guys come to New York who are like, you know, road features or whatever, and they get there and all of a sudden you're at the bottom of the fucking barrel again, and that sucks. I was already at the bottom of the barrel here, so it was like,
I wish I would have done that.
Yeah, it didn't matter. But look, man, it really means a lot you coming on the show and opening up like that. Yeah, you know, you're one of my best friends, and it's good to see you doing good. Where can you know, check out Puddles wherever you get your podcast from. Where else can the people follow you, man?
Check out Nikki Glazer podcast, and then Nikki's going on tour, and I'm going to tell some jokes before her without a Wookiee. I don't think we'll see, and yeah, we're going to be in Waterloo. When does this come out?
So we're not sure. Not for a while. We're getting some in the
starting July 30th. We're going to be in San Antonio and then doing like 40 cities. So if you just go to nikkiglazer.com tour, you could find me opening for her over the next 7 months. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was awesome meeting you, buddy.
You too, hilarious. Dude. Enjoy the alcohol, and Yeah, just keep that mind rested, bro.
Keep it going, homie.
Thanks, brother. Later, dude.
Stay asleep.
Late.
Hey guys, it's Brendan. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Shit Brains. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you review it, you rate it, all of that stuff really helps the algorithm. Throw us a follow at Shitbrains Show on Instagram and Twitter, Shitbrains Show on YouTube. You can email us your questions at shitbrainshow@gmail.com. We even have, for you hardcore fans, a Facebook group where you can go and you can chat and meet up with other fans. That's Shitbrains Show on Facebook. So, and then of course, if you really like it and you want some bonus content, we're coming out with a bonus episode every single week, plus a lot of other bonus content. You're going to want to get on there and check it out. Go to patreon.com/shitbrainshow. Later, Shitbrains.